Good morning, everyone. I'm Derek. This is There Will Be Cars, and today I'm going to take the 2020 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sahara with the new EcoDiesel on a 1,000-mile road trip. I know a lot of you out there have been patiently waiting for Jeep to finally put an EcoDiesel in the Wrangler, and it's finally here. I'm sure two of the biggest reasons a lot of you are interested in buying one of these is not only for the torque, but for the fuel economy. The EPA says this particular Sahara is good for 29 miles a gallon on the highway. Now you combine that with the fact that this has an 18-gallon fuel tank, and you've got a pretty substantial potential range. When I first got the keys to this, it said it had a range of a little north of 500 miles. I know a lot of you Jeep owners out there daily drive your Wranglers. I know you take them on really long road trips. So you're probably wondering what the real world fuel economy figures are for this. And that's what we're going to find out today. My girlfriend and I are going to drive from the Austin area to way West Texas to visit some of our family and friends in El Paso. Now, like I said, this is going to be a real-world fuel economy test, so I'm not going to try to hypermile this. I'm not going to strap any instrumentation to it. I'm just going to drive it like I normally would. We've made that trip several times before, and the last time I checked, it's about 550 miles each way. So we're going to go out there today. A few days later, we're going to make the trip back to Austin. So it'll be well over 1,000 miles by the time we're done. The speed limit does fluctuate in certain areas. Once we get to a certain point in Texas, speed limit is pretty much 80 the whole way. Those of you who have made the trip from Central Texas to El Paso, you know that even at those speeds, the trip takes forever. So let's just say this, probably won't be doing exactly 80. So there you have it. Suitcase, girlfriend's suitcase, camera case. It's a tight fit, but it's a fit. Now that we're all packed and ready to go, we're gonna hit the road. We're about to set out. I've done some around town suburban driving, so far racked up 126 miles. EcoDiesel's doing pretty well at 26.4. We'll see what that grows to on the highway. So I'm gonna start a separate trip computer just for this trip to El Paso and back to give you an even better idea of its fuel economy. We're almost 200 miles in, been on the road for over 3 hours, doing 22.7 miles per gallon right now. I'm going to top it off. Do a little quick bug check here at the gas station. Always rack up a lot of kills on the way to El Paso, and as you can see, the collection is growing. Got to clean the windshield too. Hi everyone, so we're on the way. We're about 2 hours in. We're out close to Ozona, so heading even further west. Just feels like it takes forever, but we still got a ways to go. Probably another, let's see, yeah, probably another 300 or so miles. I gotta be honest with you, a few weeks before I got the keys to this Wrangler Unlimited Sahara, my girlfriend and I went from the Austin area to Dallas and back. That was in a 2020 Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon with the 2-liter e-torque 4-cylinder. I felt like I had to make minor corrections to the steering constantly. And you combine that kind of slow, vague steering with the aerodynamics that the Wrangler has, and then all the crosswinds. And yeah, I was constantly having to correct the steering. Now, this EcoDiesel Sahara, I really got to say the steering is remarkably different. It's very windy out here and of course very noisy. I mean, the aerodynamics don't really change that much, but the steering is a lot better. There is some play to it, obviously, especially in the high wind areas, but it's a lot more settled down than the Rubicon steering seemed to be. It's a lot, I don't have to pay quite as much attention to it. One thing I really enjoy about this particular Sahara, and the Rubicon had it too, is the fact that there's adaptive cruise control. So it makes these really long trips a lot more relaxing because I don't have to monitor quite as many things. Quick update, we're over the 200-mile mark, so we've done over 200 miles, and out here the speed limit is 80, and we're doing a little north of that. So that's kind of dipped our numbers a little bit, but as of right now, over the course of 201.2 miles, averaging 22.4 miles a gallon. Stay tuned. Another fuel stop down to 51 miles of range, averaging 20.6. Let's see what the trip computer is at. Oh boy. All right, 453 miles basically. Still above 20 miles a gallon, and we got under 2 hours to go to El Paso. Everyone, we're sort of in the home stretch right now. Got less than 2 hours to go to El Paso, averaging above 20 miles a gallon, just above 20.5 right now. I just want to give you a lay of the land in here, show you some of the features that are really coming in handy. Got that central information display right there. I can go to my mileage, and then I can get a big digital speedometer. If I scroll down far enough, that's great. Got a nice big Uconnect system right here. Very responsive to my touch. So now we're to the part of the trip where there's actually some interesting scenery. A lot of rolling hills, you know, instead of just straight flat land. It's no longer like that scene in Dumb and Dumber where they're going through, what, Nebraska, thinking it's Colorado. It's a little more visually interesting. So I'll check back in with y'all when we get there. I'll give you a final fuel economy reading for this EcoDiesel, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, we're here in El Paso finally. So the trip computer from our place in the Austin area to here has racked up 568.6 miles. We did about 85 for a good portion of the way here. But despite that, overall we've averaged nearly 23 miles per gallon over the course of nearly 8.5 hours of driving. So we've had a couple of fun days in El Paso. Went to Cattleman Steakhouse, spent some time with my girlfriend's family and friends. Really nice time. Really enjoyed the time off, and the weather. Weather was great. But now we're about to hit the road and head back to Austin. So just gassed up, and status report right now, since we left Austin, we've put on 684 miles, still averaging almost 24 miles a gallon. That's fantastic. Now, of course, the highway travel is going to dip that number a little bit because we're going to be doing about 85 for a good portion of it. I'll give you status reports along the way as well. Adaptive cruise control goes, it's great, it's very convenient, but you definitely want to make your transitions from behind cars to open road as seamless as possible, because obviously, you know, if you get too close to the vehicle in front of you, the Jeep's going to slow down. But I found that even when I get to the fast lane and there's nobody in front of me, it takes a couple of seconds for the sensors to register that there's an open path in front of the vehicle and to apply the throttle again. I wish that was a little snappier, but overall, very convenient. There you have it, everyone. We have hit 1,000 miles on the trip computer. Still doing above 20 miles a gallon, but we're really booking it back to Austin. We've got probably 3 or so hours to go still. We're doing the best we can, and yeah, considering the speeds and how long we've been going at this speed, I think the mileage is still pretty good. One thing I wanted to point out about this Uconnect system, it's really cool. I mean, I love the graphics. It's fast to respond to my inputs and all that. I really like this feature on the Nav System. We're going through a lot of small towns that change pretty quickly, especially at this speed. And sometimes you just want to know, well, where exactly am I? So you can look right here in information and ask the system, where am I? And it'll tell you right there. So yeah, we're in Ozona, and I'm sure a lot of you who have made the trip from Central Texas to El Paso and back have a lot of familiarity with the Ozona as a sort of, you know, not a midway point, but definitely a very prominent point on the journey. So we're trying to blow through here as fast as we can, within reason, of course. We've made it under the 2-hour mark, everyone. Less than 2 hours away from Austin at a 1,160 miles basically on this trip computer. We're above 21 miles a gallon. We're just about out of daylight, but when I get back home, I'll be sure to show you the final figure for the trip from Austin to El Paso and all our driving there, and then the trip back to Austin. I'll give you the final numbers on that. Here we are, finally home. So from Austin to El Paso and back, and all the driving we did in El Paso included, racked up 1,237.6 miles and averaged 24.2 miles a gallon. Had to fill up quite a bit because, you know, most of the way there and back, we're doing about 85 miles an hour on the highway. So that definitely brought our numbers down, but the slower around town driving, that helped bring the numbers up a little bit. But yeah, so Austin to El Paso and back, 24.2 miles per gallon. It's got 2 major party pieces, but a load of optional equipment as well. The biggest upgrade to this particular Wrangler is under the hood. Let's take a look. So that is the long-awaited 3-liter EcoDiesel V6. According to the EPA, it's good for 22 miles per gallon in the city, 29 miles per gallon on the highway, and 25 miles per gallon combined. Now, in case you're wondering, selecting the EcoDiesel does not increase your tow rating. When you upgrade to this engine, it's a $4,000 option, but it doesn't just include the engine itself. It comes with a limited slip rear diff with 373 gearing, an 18.3 gallon fuel tank. Before I get to the other major party piece of this particular Wrangler, and you might have gotten a hint of what it is already, I'm going to show you some of the other notable options packages. My test vehicle has the LED lighting group, and included in that are, of course, LED headlights, fog lights, and LED tail lights. This is a big plus, keyless entry. My tester also comes with the Uconnect 4C Nav System. The major part of that is the 8.4-inch touchscreen right there. And of course, a major part of that package is the Nav System. You input whatever address you want here. You can go to the recents, all that kind of stuff. This is really cool, these off-road pages. Just give it a second. So it'll tell you your pitch and your roll angle, and you can go to all the accessory gauges. Make sure all your temps are fine. And then it'll show you steering angle, what state the transfer case is in, all of that, and then you even got your coordinates right there. Very handy, very cool. A noticeable absence from the options list on this particular Wrangler is any sort of front seat heating or heated steering wheel. There are two safety group packages. There's safety group and then there's the advanced safety group. So the basic bundle includes a rear park assist system as well as a blind spot and cross path detection system. The advanced safety group includes adaptive cruise control with full stop capability. So you've got your regular cruise control right here, then you've got your adaptive cruise control. You activate that and then you can widen the gap between you and the vehicle in front of you with this, and you can shorten it with this, and then of course you set your speed higher and lower with these buttons. Advanced brake assist and a forward collision warning system are also part of the advanced safety group. Jeep combined the EcoDiesel with an 8-speed automatic, and that's bundled with hill descent control. I told you I was going to show you the other major party piece on this Wrangler, and here it is. Been lucky enough to get the Wrangler Sahara EcoDiesel with the one-touch power soft top. So all you do, you just hit this button right there. Let it do all the work for you. It's a $3,995 option. It comes with a rear washer and wiper, removable quarter panels in the back, as well as a defroster for the rear window. There you have it, everyone. It's been quite an adventure with the 2020 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sahara EcoDiesel. Took it all the way from Austin to El Paso and back. Got in a lot of city driving while we were out west as well. So if you haven't been to El Paso before, especially from Central Texas, I'll fill you in. It is a major trucking route. So there are a ton of 18-wheelers out there, heavily loaded, just flying down the road. And you get to certain sections, even when there's nobody else on the road, there's really high crosswinds, but you combine high crosswinds with the kind of slow, vague steering of the Wrangler, and that means there were times when I was passing semis, especially on curvy roads, and I had to kind of white knuckle it. I just wanted to make sure, you know, I was staying within the lines, didn't veer over. But yeah, some of those wind gusts really kind of pushed this thing around. Definitely had to drive with two hands. But I've got to say, it was surprisingly comfortable. It held all the stuff that my girlfriend and I needed it to hold. Now, one last thing. You're probably wondering what my overall fuel economy has been. Now, I showed you what it was from Austin to El Paso and back. But before I went to El Paso, I covered almost 200 miles around Austin. So let's find out what the ultimate fuel economy in my time with the Wrangler EcoDiesel has been. And there we go, 1,406 miles. A lot of that was at 85 miles an hour through strong side and headwinds, still averaging 23.2 miles per gallon, a little short of the 25 miles per gallon that the EPA quotes for this particular Wrangler. But considering the speeds I went and the conditions I went through, and the fact that I did a lot of idling in this Jeep for photography and video work, I'd say that's pretty good. So there you have it, everyone. If you've been considering getting a 2020 Wrangler with the new EcoDiesel engine in it, but you're curious, well, what kind of real-world fuel economy does it get? There it is right there. I hope this helps, everyone. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, please go ahead and click the like button. And if you're not a subscriber to There Will Be Cars, I would appreciate it if you would become one. Please go ahead and click the subscribe button. I'm always bringing new content to this channel about cars, about trucks, about SUVs. So I hope you're here to see it. Thanks for watching.